Farms. We're back with another episode of Missouri River Bottom, and today we're going to be finishing out this soybean harvest. We're going to be jumping over there and getting the corn harvest going on that field next to the farm, and maybe, hopefully, we can move the time forward and get going on this last bit of soybeans we've got that aren't quite ready yet. We're pushing to get done. I've got a combine over here that's almost full. We've had to wait out a little bit of a rain storm here the last several hours, but it doesn't seem to have affected the moisture too much on these crops. And this combine is full. So let's go ahead and just take him over here. We'll get him emptied out as long as we're here. No sense in struggling with this if we're gonna need to get empty no matter what. And I'm excited because we've got a few new things planned for this series as we move along. There's been some new mods that have come out that look interesting, like that wide grain system thing. I don't know, the Nexat thing that I've seen a lot about. That should be a fun mod to play around with here at some point. So we're going to have to keep things moving here on the series so that we can get into some of those new pieces of equipment. Now, I'm looking at the field over here to our right. I think we planted some barley, maybe some wheat. I don't remember. But I'm seeing a lot of weeds popping up over there. So I'm going to need to get the sprayer out and going here as well, which will be awesome. I love seeing new jobs getting done on the farm here. But first, we got to make sure these combines keep moving. So I'm going to zip on over here and unload this other combine on the way down. I'm pretty sure, yep, it's at 80% full already. So we're in the perfect position to make sure both of these combines keep moving. I think that we've got enough to actually finish this field without any more unloads. I think each of these combines can make at least 2 full rounds on a tank, and there's not that many beans left over here. We're not quite at a point where we're gonna fill up a semi with what we've got in the grain cart here, but by the time we're done, it might be close. So I'm gonna just leave this guy here, and no reason to run him all over the field until we know when and where we're gonna need to unload one of these combines. And we're still waiting with the big bud over here to merge all these fields together because we don't want to run over any of the beans that we've got going. So let's see. I'm going to get this sprayer moving real quick first, and then we're going to grab one of these combines and start harvesting some corn. Actually, you know what? Now that I say that, let's go ahead and just grab a combine now. We'll grab this guy as he gets to the end row, and we will just take it back up to the yard with us and switch it over to corn. I do have a corn head purchased up in the farmyard now, and I figure we might as well get started on that since the corn is ready, and then the one combine can clean up over here, finish things off. We've got the semi right there that I'll be able to unload into. This should work out quite nicely for us. I've got the def mod on this particular save here, and I've noticed that we're using that blue bar of def down in the lower right hand corner. I'm not sure how we're going to replace that just yet. I haven't played around with this mod yet, but it was recommended by the map maker actually for this map, so I figured, why not? We'll give it a shot. But if we're not able to figure out where we can purchase that might be a problem, so I'll have to look into that at some point here. We're not quite at a point where we're running out of fuel, but one of these days that's going to be a thing that we need to focus on. And then here we are, gonna just dump the beans into the semi directly. No need to monkey around with the grain cart. Perfect. And off we go. We'll get this thing up to the field. Now, the one thing with these combines that I noticed, and maybe I missed it in the settings, but there's no tow hitch on these combines, so I can't actually tow my header back up to the farmyard. I have to drive up there with it, still on the front of the combine here, and that's not really a problem because we're on these little back roads and there's no traffic. But as we continue to expand them into other fields around the map, I think we're going to need to figure out how we're hauling these headers around a little bit easier. And my preference would be to be able to haul them with a combine. So I might still shop around for some different combines at some point if I can't sort that out. And I'm just realizing somehow I left the stupid license plates on these vehicles. I try to remember to disable that on our actual farm equipment, but sometimes it slips through. Makes sense on the semis and the trucks and stuff like that, but not on our combines. One thing I'm noticing in this field as we drive by, besides all the weeds, is just how much of the field itself we missed when we were seeding. There's little spots here, there, and everywhere, it feels like, especially the corners. We'll need to do a better job next season with getting all of our crops planted here and not missing so many of these big, wide corner swaths. I think with the large toe-behind drills like that, sometimes it's hard to get that stuff to be super accurate. But also, I mean, I can blame courseplay, but we actually did some of that ourselves, and we need to do better, folks. Now, the nice thing about this cornfield is it's fairly squarish. It's not going to be a large hassle to get through. However, corn does tend to be pretty high volume, and I think we're going to have to run the grain cart quite a bit to keep up with it. That's all right. By the time I get this switched over and sent out there, we should be just about done harvesting our beans, and we can move the grain cart over here without too much trouble. I'm trying to think where I'm going to store these headers when we're not using them. I'm thinking I'm going to put them right over here on this side of the shed for now, and it should be quite happy there. I'm not super excited about the tongue being out in the driveway like that, though, so I might have to come over here and hook up to that and back it up a little bit further. But that's all right. We'll keep an eye on it for the time being. We can always come back and tackle that. I did get a 16-row Capello here, but because it lets me color it to match our North American Claas colors. So that's going to work out well for us, I think. 16-row felt appropriate. We've got some pretty decent-sized combines here, and we want to get through this corn decently fast. I don't think we're going to be planting much corn in this series. I think we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the cotton once we get going on that, and probably some beans and maybe some wheat. I don't know. We're going to try and stick to the common crops in the Missouri area, but also just do some things that are a little bit different. And I guess corn is one of the other common crops, but I feel like we do soybeans and corn on every series. And this header has the knives on it, so you can see it mowed down our grass there a bit, which is not a problem, just interesting. And I hope that's going to count as mulched here if we look at the map. So I wanted to check on that real quick. It is, so I'm going to get the mulching bonus with this head. That's awesome. Which also means we probably don't need to plow over here like I was doing on the other fields. If we're mulching with the head, we'll be good to go. Now let me come in here and we're going to get a course going for this guy to keep up with everything. And 2 headland passes should be good. I'm going to do sharp corners on this, so I think that means he will drive in and then back up and kind of go tackle the next one. We're going to do rows to skip, none rows per land. Okay, everything should be good. Generate fieldwork course, and I don't want to go at an angle, so I'm going to do longest edge and do the up-down rows. The up-down rows aren't quite straight here, but we're gonna let it go. There we go. Should be good. And that's going to take over an hour. Wow, this field is a little bit bigger than I anticipated. That's all right. Let's go ahead and hop over here into the quad track and see if I can Yeah, I was going to say catch up with that guy and unload him on the way down, but we didn't quite make it in time. We're going to just unload in place here. We've got another round or so left after this, so we're in a pretty good spot with these soybeans. And it's starting to get towards the end of the day here. You can see it's dusk. It's getting a little hazy. Some fog rolling in. So we might move the clock forward here momentarily. I do want to just get this guy unloaded first. And then I said we were going to get our sprayer moving. So let me come over here. We're going to get our sprayer set up with some herbicide and see about spraying this other field. I should be able to back into this liquid point and fill it up. Not quite. Maybe a little farther. No, not quite. All right, hang on. There we go. Start filling the herbicide. I don't actually know how much I'm going to need. I'm going to just fill it up because we're not going to need to use this sprayer for fertilizer, I don't think, because we're putting fertilizer on when we do our planting right now. And I think we'll just be using this to spray weeds for everything for the most part. So let's take this on over and get it started on our, gosh, I got to remember what's in that field. I want to say it's barley. And it is indeed barley. Yeah, there's a lot of weeds out here. This is going to work good. And just checking in here on our soybeans. I'd love to get these soybeans wrapped up before I move the time forward, I think. So we're going to keep trucking over here in this field. I'm not sure I'm going to get all of that in the single pass on the way back down. We're probably going to end up with like one row, and we're going to have to make another round. We'll see. It's going to be close. Checking in on our corn harvest, though. We are missing the occasional stalk on the edge of the field, but we're doing pretty good here. I'm going to get full somewhere on the back end of this field with all the trees and stuff, though, which is going to be a little bit interesting for getting back here with the grain cart. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but what I want to check is to see that these sharp corners are working the way that I think they should, which is this guy should go straight ahead until he gets to the edge of the field and then back up and turn into the next row. Now he's getting a little bit confused because he's trying to run into the trees here, unfortunately. I was hoping that wasn't going to be a problem. It's actually one of the reasons why I went with the sharp corners. Either way, we should be able to just start back off and around the outside here like so, and then do nearest waypoint. It's gotten dark enough now that we've got to turn on the lights. And yeah, these trees are right up along the edge of the field. I feel like I would have planted maybe a couple feet further away from the trees in real life, or possibly even just cut these trees down, although I know it's probably like a windbreak to help cut down with soil erosion and such. So I'm going to not come in here with the chainsaw as much as I'd like to and cut all these down. We'll leave them up, but we may have some problems when we're planting back here. And we are starting to get full. And I know the in-game helper isn't going to be smart enough to do the cut-in like Courseplay is doing. Oh, but we're using Courseplay on this field. It's the other field we couldn't use Courseplay on. So hopefully we'll cut in and have space for the grain cart to get back here. Looks like that is something that needs to be done now. No, we're going to be dumb about it. Okay, Courseplay, I gotcha. Just when I'm trying to tell everybody how smart you've gotten and that this is not going to be a problem, you let me down. And as expected, we've got one row of beans left over here that's going to need to be harvested. So what I'm going to do is we're going to unload the combine real quick just to make sure it's got room to handle everything, because it is starting to get a little bit full. And then I'm going to unload these beans into the semi, and we're going to take this grain cart over to keep that other combine moving in the cornfield. We're definitely starting to feel full, though. Having to actually use gears to keep moving this grain cart around. We're at kind of a low speed from time to time here. There were quite a few beans in the combine here. I'm pleasantly surprised, but it's definitely got enough capacity now to get to the end row. Just harvesting these, one row of beans. I can't believe it's one row that was left. A little bit unfortunate. And let's just bring ourselves right by here. We do have quite a bit in the back hopper already from the other combine. So that's a thing to watch out for, is maybe we won't get all of these beans into the trailer. I sure hope we do. I would hate to have to run up there and back again to get the beans out of the grain cart. But if I remember right, we can hold quite a few in this trailer compared to our other saves. It looks like we're making good progress. It's starting to get dark, so we'll turn on some work lights. I hate playing in the dark in general, but I do want to kind of keep these workers moving. It's not quite so late. I want to get done harvesting this field if we can. With the hired help, it should work out pretty well for us. And I should have just enough capacity in this semi, I think, to empty whatever beans we get with the combine there. So I am going to leave that semi out here to wait for that. And I'm going to fold this pipe up. We're going to run all the way up here and get over into this cornfield. Now, I could probably sneak across the barley here since it's in a young stage. Let's find out. Because that's a long way around. I think if I just skirt the edge of this field, it's not going to be the end of the world. I don't know that I would run over the barley in real life, but it's early stage. Oh no, I forgot about the irrigation ditch. All right, let's go around. And here we go, right on up to the combine. I'm just hoping there's enough room. I forget how long this quad track is. So I've got to get up here and get the grain cart under the auger without running into the corn. Nice. Guess I can turn my flashers off now that we're in the field again. And yeah, that's draining right on out of there. This is working good. All right, I'm going to try and back this trailer up a ways. Give me room to maneuver the combine back into the row that it needs to be harvesting in. Looks like our other combine just finished with those beans. So what I think we'll do is leave this guy sitting right there. And we'll get this guy started. And then I'm going to start moving the time forward, get us back into some daylight. No sense burning the midnight oil. We're not in that much of a rush here. Something like that. And we're off. Let's just jump up here. We'll get the combine emptied out of its beans real quick. And maybe what we'll do is I'll park this up here along the road and we'll go grab the semi and just bring it up here to us, rather than drive this slow combine all the way back down to the other end of the field. I think this is going to be the easier path. A little bit of light evening exercise for us. Awesome. We didn't have auto drive running again on this driver anyway, so it's a good thing we hopped over here, or I would have just left him sitting there thinking that he was going to start driving up to the farm on his own. It's starting to get quite dark. Oh, we've still got that sprayer out there. We should probably let him take a break until morning as well. My bad. Well, we'll let him just keep going for a moment. I'm surprised the workers don't turn on their headlights, though. That's a little odd to me. Or maybe I just wasn't close enough because I didn't start seeing these lights until we were right up on it. Oh. We overshot our combine just a little bit. There we go. And I think that's the combine emptied. So what we'll do is we're going to dump into the farm bin site. Go forth. Well, with that all out of the way, I'm going to bring this up to the yard. And we will get our time moved forward back into daylight here. In hindsight, we've still got a field of beans down here. Maybe I should leave a combine out to harvest those, you know what I mean? So no sense in driving this thing all the way back up to the farm. I'm going to just bring it back over here and leave it with the beans. And then we'll move this clock forward right now. Let's do it. Here we go. 500. Ooh, we're paying nighttime wages to our employees. $3. I think we can handle it. We were gonna stop this guy through the night. I forgot all about him, so he's all done. And we've got a little bit of a loan payment there and some property maintenance charges, but overall, not a big deal on the farm here. We can handle a few $1,000s a day. And we're almost back to the light here. Get this clock going just a little bit faster. And there we go. It's starting to get daytime. I love it. Well, let me go park this. We used more herbicide than I was expecting, to be honest. We're at 2.3 gallons an acre. 83% already gone. So we'll work our way through the rest of it as we tackle some of these other fields. I think we are going to keep buying fields once we start making some money here. I'm going to try and hold off on spending too much more money at the moment. We're already more than $1 million in debt, and we're going to need some money for different things, I'm sure. I'm sure there's some things that I'm forgetting that'll come up that we need, like that corn header. So I'm going to try not to get too big too fast, and we need to just make some profit off of our fields here. So we'll keep working on what we've got for a little bit here. And I think I need to grab this grain cart and empty out the combine that's working its way around this cornfield right now. So we're gonna come over here and grab it. We left the lights on overnight. Gonna be a dead battery to deal with. So I've got 370 bushels of corn already, which is pretty good. And I've got a combine up on the corner that looks like he's gonna be getting full pretty soon. Our semi-truck has managed to get into the bins and unload already. So now we just got to find a place for him to set up here on the edge of this cornfield, probably just right down here on the road. That way we can dump the grain cart into him when we get a chance. And 27 miles an hour is feeling mighty slow right now as we try to chase down this combine. There are times where I wonder if it makes more sense to have a smaller grain cart and tractor that can go a little bit faster versus one big one. There we go. A pull in here, and this has been working so much better since we swapped out the grain cart. That big Balzer looks really cool, but it's just not a very practical grain cart for using with the automation like I tend to like to do. I love seeing multiple vehicles moving around on the farm. Lots of fun. And there we go. We've got him all emptied out. I don't know how far he's going to get. Maybe as long as we're here and driving, I'm going to just drive this grain cart down to the other end. I'm thinking it'd be nice if we could unload on the way back up. We almost made it to that corner last time, and I had to take the headland off on the other end here. Plus, the outside is always longer than the next headland in. So I think we'll be good to go on unloading on the long way back up there. So I'm going to move this grain cart all the way down here, and we're going to put it somewhere on this headland closer to the other end, but keep it out of the way where it's going to need to turn around on the corner of this field. So honestly, probably somewhere right around here is going to be a great place to park this for now. And then we can take a look. I was going to spread some lime in one of these fields. Let me see what our pH levels are. Yeah, this field 54 is looking mighty orange. So what I might do is bring this out there and start spreading a little bit. I can't use coarse play just yet to do it though, so we may just use the regular game worker for that again and kind of work our way through that. This thing's got quite a wobble of this three-wheel steer vehicle. It's got some spring to it, but makes me real nervous to see it tip like that when you turn the wheel. Whee, whee. Okay, we're gonna roll it. We better stop with the shenanigans. Now, I'm not sure, but I think we've got enough room to let the worker do its thing and turn around on the far end. So I'm gonna find the edge of this field with the lime, something like this. We get pointed in the right direction and just let him go. Should work out just fine. We're burning through that lime pretty fast though. That's okay. We're putting quite a bit on actually. I knew it was low, but this is pretty low. It's more than a full pH value there. Tons per hectare. And as you can see, our corn harvester is almost in the right spot here. Let's go ahead and grab the grain cart so that we're ready to unload as we go around the corner. It was only about half full right now, but that's all right. By the time we get into position and start unloading, it'll be a bit fuller. Corn has always got quite a bit of volume compared to some other crops when you're harvesting, which is one of the things that I've always loved about harvesting corn. And I think this sharp corners works really good, especially on the square fields with the combine here. We don't have any missed crops on the corner, which is what I like to see. There we go. Oh, I might be just a little bit too close. I forget how long this pipe is. Let's move ourselves out just a smidge. Very nice. All right, I think that once I'm done emptying this, we'll be good to go for a little bit. We only did 2 headland passes, so I think he'll probably try to cut through on the next pass here and create an opening, and then his pipe will always be on an open side for us, so should be good enough for the cut through. And we're gonna make, it looks like about a round for 50% of the hopper here, so that means he will do one more round and end up, oh no, on this end of the field again. But I don't want to be spreading lime on this other field. That's the problem we've got, is the worker just kind of jumps from one field to the other. Oh, let's get them lined up. We got to be careful with the in-game helper here in the multi-terrain angles. You've got to be pretty exact or it'll jump on a weird side angle rather than going up and down the length of the field. But yeah, we should run out right as we get back up to the other end here. I'm gonna real quick turn the worker off so I can turn the flashers off. Looking good. And with all of that moving, we need to get our semi back out to the field here. So I've got somewhere to put all this corn when we get enough of it harvested. I think I'm gonna put it right on the far end of the cornfield here. I'll probably get it turned around. Actually, you know what? I think we could put it right here. So I'm gonna drive through the yard, make the wife real happy, driving the semi right through the yard of the house. But I think if we can line this up alongside this end of the field, we'll be in a pretty good spot, and then I can just bring this right back up to the bin site here. And as I say this, you know what? I bet you we could probably just target this field. How do I target a field? Field position here. All right, so with the proper field targeted, now I can hit play, and he will wait for the combine to be ready and go handle all of that himself. Looking good. We're at 35% on the hopper, so he's got a little ways to go. Headlands are all taken care of now. And we can start in on the up-down rows, which it looks like is going to be on the far end of the field here. It looks like we might drive around on the headland and go start somewhere further down because of the angled rows. That's all right. Might as well get these angled rows out of the way, I suppose. Well, while that's going, we need to go refill the Titan here. So before we head back up to the farm, I noticed I missed a little bit here when we were getting things all set up. So I'm going to turn this on and just drive over here and see if I can get that little bit that we had missed previously. Possibly this little bit too. There we go. I think I've got it all. Let's send you back up to the farm. We'll get you filled back up. Here we are up at the farm. Just gonna pull right on in here. And let's see if I can get the lime topped off. I just realized I can switch my display of units to tons here, which I think is probably how you would measure the lime, not in cubic yards, but maybe, I don't know. Some of these dry bulk materials, it's a little odd sometimes. Sometimes it's measured in yards and sometimes it's measured in tons, but we're gonna go with tons for the time being, and we're putting on about 2 tons per acre onto this field, which is been quite a bit. Tells me we're covering 10 acres with a hopper full. That doesn't seem right. I mean, these fields are a little bit larger than what we've done in the past, but is that really 10 acres that we've covered already? I don't think so. I think maybe the capacity rating there is off a little bit because maybe we were in a different soil type and we're doing 2 tons an acre in certain soils, but not all of them. I don't know. But there's no way this little strip here is 10 acres. Maybe I'm wrong, but we're gonna get back over here and start going again. I'm gonna turn on the spreader. That'll hopefully make it easier for me to find my edge over here. Oh, we're missing just the tiniest bit. There we go. Looks good. Get lined up and off we go. We just got to keep an eye on him and grab him before he goes down to the other end of the field is the only struggle with this right now, and the main reason why we're going to plow this all together. In the meantime, we got to keep an eye on our corn picking it here, and we're at 66% on the hopper, 140 bushels. We might as well grab that grain cart and bring it over here, although I've got it set up to automatically come out here, I think. I wonder why it hasn't gotten out here, and I'm realizing I don't think I set the combine up on lands mode when I created this course. New equipment, new save. Always forget that you have to come in and set up your defaults. Once you set the course play settings once, they hang on for a while, but we're going to need to empty him on the way back down or he's going to get full. So let's find that grain cart real quick, and maybe I'll just take over because I don't want it to end up being a problem for us. Let's see, he's going to be heading down the other way. So we are going to go up to this end of the field and come back down alongside him. We're going to put on the speed, max speed, 27 miles an hour. I don't think we're going to make it before he gets to the end, though. We got a long way to go, folks. Go, Speed Racer. Oh, it's going to be close. I think we're going to make it. If just. I can see the corn starting to mound up in the hopper there, though. So I don't know that he would have even made it to the far end of this field. Either way, I'm way too close, so we'll start working our way out. Come on, start unloading. There we go, folks. We did it. Lots of corn. And of course, while we're doing this, I lost track of our spreader. It's way over on the other side of the field there. We're not really wasting material because we'd already put lime on that other field over there that we've tilled, but it's just the fuel and worker costs that are gonna stack up a little bit. Probably costing us a few $100s by not being over there to manage it a little better. That's okay. This combine is now empty. Man, I think we're gonna leave it on the other end of the field here, ready to follow him back down in a little bit. We don't have enough to fill up the combine, or the semi, excuse me, anyway. So I will get this guy into position. Trying to find a gear that'll get me enough oomph to get going. This grain cart's starting to get a little bit heavy. That's all right. This 715 will champ it out. It's got plenty of horsepower. And I think if I just leave it down here, we can follow that combine back down in a round or two and get enough corn to go fill up the combine, the semi. I keep saying it that way. I don't understand. Oh, and this guy, not only did he get down here, he got down here and then thought that he didn't have anything left to do because all of this was already fertilized. Then why are you coming down here, dude? This is obnoxious. Drive him all the way back down here and get the worker started. Got enough for one more round. Oh man, it looks like we got 30% of a hopper already on just that stretch back up. And then the next stretches are going to be longer and longer as we work our way up to the long rows off of these ankled rows. That means we'll be 60 by the time we get back down, maybe a little bit more, and we won't have the capacity to get back up. So that means we got to hook up to the grain cart here again and follow him back down, at least to get some of that hopper unloaded to give him enough room to make it back up to the far end of this field as the rows get longer. Good deal. I love it when my problems are we've got a lot of corn in the hopper. Can't complain. I think I'm actually far enough away this time. Perfect. Oh, I love it. We're right in the middle of the grain cart. No left-right adjustment that really needs to be made. We're doing it, folks. We're getting used to our new equipment here on the farm. And we've got this combine emptied out, so I might as well just pause here. I think we'll be nice and out of the way here. And we better hop back on over here to our Titan and make sure that this worker doesn't go crazy on me again, driving all over the place. A lot of lime going to be necessary for this field, especially as we're having to dump it after every 2 rounds. I think we're going to take a look around and see if we can't find a better spreader than this. Because we are going to have to keep up with the pH on a lot of our fields. Oh, and we ran out before we got back even this time. Well, that's double unfortunate. We were doing good with being able to make 2 full rounds before we ran out. But not this time. Well, we'll send him back up to the farm. We'll get him refilled. But like I was saying, I think we're going to need to find a bigger fertilizer spreader. I don't have anything installed at the moment. Let's see. This is actually the hopper for the sprayer. This thing, we're on the bigger one of these, which is 23.5 cubic yards. 24, this isn't really that big of a difference. 1 cubic yard is not going to make or break us. We would need something significantly larger in order to handle it. And we're back out here in the field getting this guy started off again after a round trip up to the farm. We're going to just make sure we handle the transition between the end of the field here and turning him around and going back the other way. That way we don't have any unnecessary expenditures. There we go. And I think somewhere around here should line us up pretty good. Oh, we need to actually point the right way. Oh, we're going way too fast. There we go. Should be good. All right, everything's lined up perfect. We're going to have to look around and see if I can find a larger capacity dry spreader that can keep up with everything. Or maybe we just need to get more of them and fix our inability to use auto drive with that bulk buy point. That could also be a solution. We're just going to have lots and lots of equipment moving around on the map. Not necessarily a bad thing. It makes things feel more alive, at least for me, when you see things moving all over the place. And we better go ahead and get over here with the grain cart again. We've let our combine get full while we were doing that. And yeah, I want to keep things moving today. Now, let me know, going back to our dry fertilizer question, if there's a larger dry fert spreader that you use in your playthroughs that you think I should check out, because I've got my eyes open for some kind of an upgrade there. Even if we are just buying more equipment to have it running around in different fields at the same time, I'm always looking for new mods. I thought I saw somebody was converting over or upgrading or maybe just building from scratch the Dion 345 spreader we had in FS19. Custom modding did that in a previous version of Farm Sim. That would be another cool one to check out. I had been using that big one in UMRV, but I like to try and mix things up, not use all the same equipment when I bounce from one series to another, but that pull behind it worked really well for us. And we should be just about full here. Part of me wants to completely get this grain cart full just to see how the K715 handles it. But the rest of me wants to just take this up and dump it into the semi, because then the semi can be running the corn up to the bin site and we can keep multiple jobs moving here. Don't want to get into a situation where we get full and the combine's sitting around again. The combine does seem to be filling itself up pretty fast on a given round now that it's onto these longer rows. So I think we're going to have to empty it every round just to keep it moving. And I don't want it to get, I'll call it crop locked, where the auger is facing the crop side. So we're going to just kind of keep moving here. Fill our front hopper first. And this thing is just cranking through the corn, dumping it out here. I mean, this is hundreds of bushels every couple of seconds, it feels like. I like it. It's fast, but not so fast that it feels completely unrealistic. I mean, realistically, I think it would probably go a little bit slower than that, but not a lot. These big grain carts can really push out the grain when it needs to. And we got some loud noises here. One thing I forgot to point out, but we do have the real dashboard set up in cab here. Our buddy Perma's Modding set this all up, and it's a great way when you're running the grain cart to be able to see how much you've got in there, which is awesome. I like watching the numbers fly by in real time as we're emptying things out. And there you go. Well, we've got the semi all full, and I've still got 285 or 86 bushels in the grain cart. Good deal. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave the combine sitting over here for a minute. And I'm going to run this up to the bin site and get it emptied out. In fact, we can just let auto drive handle unloading it real quick, and then we can just hop back in and bring it out here when we need to. So let me get it over here pointed towards the bin site, at least increase our probability of success without sending him all the way up to a different waypoint. If I start him over here, I feel like he's going to grab the closest auto drive network and we'll have to drive way up there and all the way around to turn around, which is not overly convenient. And here we go, get going with this quad track. Oh yeah, it pulls a lot easier when it's not full of corn. Going to try and sneak around here and be ready to unload the combine as it makes its turn. I think it's sitting right over here getting to the headland right now. And it should be about half full, maybe a little bit less than half. But if we can empty it on the way down, that means it's got enough capacity to get all the way back up here without any problems. And because we're right up close to the farm here, we won't have any problems with having a semi ready to go by the time we're full again. But we are already at 500 and some bushels, so that's pretty good. That's a quarter of a semi, a little bit more than a quarter of a semi already. And that's our semi being done unloading. So we're going to just run right back on over here, grab the semi, and get him up by the field again. I think that spot that we were parked in worked really well. So let's just drive him out here. I think just like last time, we're going to swing around on the edge of the yard here and park so that our tarp is away from the field. Makes it a little bit easier to unload when you don't have to try and stare over the tarp there. Awesome. And I suppose I can actually pull a few feet onto the field here. That should do it. And at some point I lost track of our fert spreader, and it ended up way out here in the middle of somebody else's cornfield. I'm wondering if I should buy that cornfield since we do have a corn header now. Let's see, how much would that field be? Well, I told myself I wasn't going to buy any more land, but where am I working? That's over here. How much would that field be? Almost 500k. I don't know if I've got 500k more on the loan we can take out. But that's a nice field. I would really like to get that. We'd have to get a second combine going, or a second header going on our combine to do that, I feel like. Not making a lot of sense here, I realize. We'd have to get a second header for the other combine and have both combines go out in a big cornfield like that. That's what I'm thinking. Not sure I'm ready for that level of expansion at this point, so I think we're going to pass. We're going to try and get through with what we have. We've got a lot going on the farm right now, and we just don't have enough money really to keep buying more equipment. We've already taken out an $8.5 million investment from our UMRV save. I suppose I could always send a couple more million over, but we're going to hang on to that money. UMRV's got a bunch of upgrades to do as well. And yeah, we're just going to have to make it on our own from this point on this save. I'm hoping we can make enough money over the course of this first year to pay back all of the debt we've taken on to get things established. I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot. And man, we ripped through a lot of lime on that pass back compared to some of the other passes. I feel like we were at 48% or something when we started, and now I'm down to 16%, so we're not going to make it back to the other end of the field on this run. I wonder if that's a soil type, not issue, but cause for that. If I look here, it's definitely worse down in some of these spots. And yeah, we've got the loam soil type. I wonder if that's just soaking up this pH at the 1.0 level. Yeah, we're really eating it up. So we are going to need to get back up to the farm. It looks like I might get to the short rows after the next batch of lime here. So we'll send this guy right on up to the farm again, get some more lime, and hopefully with the shorter rows, we've got, you know, maybe 3 more loads of lime out here is my estimate. Checking back in on our corn harvest here, we're at 80% already. I'm not sure. We should make it to the end of the field there, but I guess I didn't anticipate just how much corn we were going to pull in on these longer rows. So we'll get the grain cart into position here because he's going to need to be unloaded as soon as we get to the other end, it feels like. I'm excited. We're going to have quite a bit of grain in our bin site to sell as we keep moving the time forward here. I'm not sure what the best prices on which days and stuff is going to be. Looks like January for our wheats and oats, July for our soybeans, and we don't have the corn dryer running. Oh no, you don't. Come on, really? Could have got to the end. It was 5%, man. All right. Well, we'll go unload this guy rather than monkey around with trying to get him to keep going. Courseplay can be stubborn at times. I'm gonna just throw it in reverse so I'm ready to back on up out of the way as soon as the combine starts moving here. And let's go, let's go. There it is. All right, well, now that I know we didn't make it last time, that means I have to turn around and empty him out a little bit somewhere further down the middle of the field here. So I'm gonna just get myself into position again. That way we can hop in here and follow him along. And while that's going, we might as well hop across into the yard here, get the lime spreader refilling yet again. I really like how this refill point looks. I wish it was better functioning with auto drive. I need to go find one. That's what we need to do. I need to stop just struggling through some of this stuff. We need to go spend some time and find some better placeables that I can add to my repertoire of different mods that I like to use on saves. We've got a few common things that we tend to leverage at present, and some good placeables is next up on the list. So if you've got placeables that you like to use for things like the lime buy points and such, or anything else, you know, any of the other fill stations, let me know what they are. I'm looking for something that looks, I guess, a natural on a Midwest, a North American style map, and that always tends to be a little bit of a struggle, but I'll deal with it as I can. Maybe I just need to start making my own stuff too. We could always modify that to make that auger a visual component rather than an actual movable component, and just put a normal fill point in it. Something like that. I don't know. We'll have to think about it, but I've got the combine emptied out now. It should be able to make a full round now, so I'm going to spin this around because I'm going to need to catch up with it on the far end of the field here eventually, so might as well leave things in a appropriate position. And we've got to get that lime spreader going again. We've got 3 loads left to do out in that field as far as I can count. It's always so ridiculous to me that I can look into the distance and see a combine and the corn in the header of that combine getting harvested, but not the actual corn in the field. So crazy. Let's see, where did we leave off with the lime spreading? Looks like we're right here. And once again, I'm going to babysit this driver just a bit, because I don't trust him to make the turnaround on the headland here. And I think that combine's actually in the perfect place, because I think when we're coming back up next time, we're going to run into it. And that's exactly what I want. I want to stop this worker from going off into the other field. And that'll do it for me if I lose track of things. Ideally, we'd just be paying attention and take care of it ourselves. But I'm certain I'm going to get distracted at some point here. And we might as well just have a safety mechanism in place. We're a little bit off. Oh, this isn't quite as wide as I thought it was. Here we go. All right, so it's not quite in the best place to block us. Let me back it up here. Got to keep up with the corn, though. We're at 62%. We'll definitely make it to the end row this time. So we'll hop into our grain cart and get ready to rock and roll. And we'll probably go dump into the semi after this batch. Maybe I'll follow the combine all the way down to the far end, and then I'll be in a good position to wrap my way back up and unload into the semi. And that'll maximize how much corn we've got in there to put into the semi. And I've got to get the, whatchamacallit going. Where's my production chains? So this is my corn dryer. I don't know what the mover bottom is. Missouri River Bottom. Oh, okay. Well, we need the corn dryer to do its thing. And I've got 2 of them. I don't understand why I have 2. This one doesn't have anything in it. Okay, so this isn't us. This is us. I must own another set of bins somewhere around on the map. Well, the corn dryer I can activate, but I need propane. Do I have that mod? If I come over here and click on propane, I do. And I can buy it 1,000 at a time. It doesn't let me specify, oops, how much. That's okay. We're going to buy some more. And I'm going to buy 1 more. I don't know how much I need, folks, so I'm just going to buy some. There we go. That should be enough. I don't know how much corn I'm going to do, but 4,000 gallons of propane for a couple $100 should be fine. And I'm not paying attention again, and our combine's going to be full before I can get down here. Alas, I pride myself on being efficient and keeping these machines moving, but the reality is, more often than not, we run a very inefficient farm here on Kedrick Farms. It is what it is, though. Not much that can be done about it at this point. Oh, it's going to start moving. Perfect. Minor inefficiency. Barely worth noticing. Oh, and our worker is blocked by the combine over there. Perfect. As planned. But like I said, I'm going to follow this guy all the way to the end row, I think. Or do I have time? We have time. Let's do it. We don't have time for this. I'm going to move the combine now out of the way. And we're going to... Whoa! Hey, where are you going? I thought the worker would have stopped by now. Guess not. And let's see there. That looks about right. And off he goes. Oh, he's going to have a little strip there to come back up on. That's all right. And then all the way back around the tab cycle, we get to our grain cart again. And if I can just make it before he gets to the end, we'll be good. Let's go. One more gear. Oh, we're a little close. I keep doing that. I forget how long of a pipe this thing has because of the wider cutter head that we've got. And here we go. 1,500 bushels, not too shabby. Now this won't be enough to fill up the semi, I don't think. We've got only 1,500 in here. I want to say this semi holds closer to 2,000, just short of 2,000. We'll find out in a second here. Not quite. Maybe it holds about 18 total, so we'll be 300 bushels short. We're almost done with this corn harvest. Excited for that. Got just one last round that we're on. And it looks like our fert spreader ran out of fertilizer over there again. There we are. We got 15. Yeah, oh, that's my guess. 1,800 that this thing can hold. No sense really going anywhere with this right now. We'll wait until the combine makes its turn. So let's grab this guy and run him back up to the farm. Now, unfortunately, oh, we killed some beans. That's all right. Not my fault. I blame the worker. But we'll run this little strip down when we get back and start off on the shorter rows. Should work out great. In fact, maybe we'll actually run that ourselves, just because otherwise I'm sure we're going to end up running out on top of the bean field and driving all over them with this big floater tires is bound to wreck more than a few beans. And it looks like we're the perfect width here on the last pass back down. Awesome. We're gonna be done this round. I love it. Got our lime spreader just went by over there. Looking good. Oops, what happened? We put it into reverse by accident, folks. All kinds of buttons went wrong. All right, well, he is pretty well emptied, so I might as well just pause here. I do want to get the last of this lime spread this episode. I want to wrap up both of these jobs, so we're gonna keep going here. So the other one was they want the first hopper. We've got 2 more hoppers to see if I have estimated our lime needs accurately. I always like challenging myself to guess some of this stuff. Eventually, you think I'll get better at it. We'll find out. But there we go. We've got another full hopper of lime here. And we'll run this right on back out to this field. All right, let's see if we can figure out how to do this. I'm going to run back down here manually and not run over our soybeans. But I'm going to crowd over to the side here. We might as well get a little bit in over top of them. Get a couple of extra bushels maybe out of this last row of soybeans. The way that fertilizer works in FS at least. I don't think putting pH on a few weeks before you harvest would really do a whole lot in real life. And let's see, I'm going to take a headland pass off here. Give myself some room to turn around, especially because we're going to be running the last bits of this field manually, most likely. And I do want to get a GPS track set up. Let's see if I can remember how to do that. I think it's Alt-R for setting the width. I don't have my stream deck over here at the moment. I'm in the process of reorganizing my office once again. And I'm going to just come down this way. And let me think if I can remember the other key commands. Is it Alt-E for a point? There's a point. And here's another point. I have a track. Alt-L shows me the track. No. Oh, I'm going to have to cheat and take a look. It's Alt-C to toggle? Or Alt-X? I think it's Alt-X to lock it on. There we go. Alt-C is the on and off. So now I have a GPS track. I like it. Now I am going to do the other headland down here though first to make sure I've got room to turn around. And with both headland passes taken care of, we should be able to handle the rest of it. This thing turns pretty tight. And especially if I'm not relying on a worker to do my turning for me, I think we've got it. I think we'll handle it. We'll find out as I careen into our soybeans, most likely on the other end of the field here, but hopefully not. And I'm going to turn on the lines for a second. I'm just curious how this is going to line up with the stuff we've already done. Not very well, but that's actually maybe perfect. We're going to take the short row here just to make sure that we've got everything all lined up here. We're going to have a overlap somewhere, no matter what I do. Might as well just take care of it now at the beginning, mostly because the amount of lime we've got left in the hopper, because we did the headlands and stuff, is a little bit off. I want to see if I can balance that out to the point where I can calculate how many more rounds we're going to be able to do. And this is going to put me just over 50% when we're turning around here. So let's see how this goes. Perfect. So if I'm at 53% starting this off, what am I going to be when I get to the end row on the other end? Or better yet, what am I going to be after a round? Will give me a more round number, but we'll see. Or not a round number, but an averaged number. 43%. So I'm going to use up just over 10% in a pass, maybe. Oh, we're still in 43. Nice. Well, if that's 10% per pass, that means I have about 4 passes left here. Yep, we're going to need another hopper for sure, but the next hopper should about do it. So we were pretty well spot on with our estimate of how much more lime we would need. I guess we should finish it out just to make sure, but I'm feeling confident in my estimates. This end of the field is really sucking up the lime too at 2.22 tons per acre. We're using it up. It's a thirsty field. I guess it's hungry since it's dry fertilizer. Well, we've been using up just over 10% per run, and we turned into this one with 11% on the meter still. So if I'm lucky, we'll be able to just make it to the end row. I'd really hate if we have like a super small sliver of area that we didn't get lime onto, but it's a possibility. It's gonna be close. I'd rather have a percent left in the tank though than the other way around. Perfect. Look at that. It came out just right. We're gonna run up and top this guy off, and we should be able to finish up this field in no time. It does look like our corn harvest is finished though, so what we'll do is we're gonna turn off the GPS lines. I'm gonna go ahead and send this guy back up to the farm with auto drive, and we're gonna go clean up that corn harvesting setup. So here we go, and off you go. Oh no, it's actually not as done as I thought it was. Well, it's done, but it was hung up on a tree. That's all right. We don't need to let Courseplay do anything anymore. We can go ahead and close out of all this and just run this up. I might as well dump this into the semi directly. No sense in putting it into the grain cart just to dump it out again. We'll get the corn header all folded up here. And man, is this pipe long. Oh, that's right. We've already got this semi, like, halfway filled up. We're going to have more than enough corn to top it off in that grain cart. So we've got a fairly full grain cart, if memory serves. I'm going to run this back over here. I'm going to dump this corn header off. Where should I dump the corn header? Can I fit it in this part of the shed? Nope, there's some kind of invisible wall. I'm definitely not hitting anything, but it thinks I am, so I guess we won't be putting it in there. Little things like that drive me nuts in Farm Sim sometimes. I'm gonna sneak it into this other shed. We'll put it back up here behind our cotton picker. And we'll need to get this guy over to the other field with the cutter bar on there eventually, but for right now, let's do one thing at a time and get this corn into the semi. Well, we didn't have as much corn in the grain cart as I thought for some reason. Maybe we will be able to get all of this into the semi. That'd be nice. Not have to have a few bushels left and come back out here for it, but I guess we're about to find out. It's going to be close, like everything else. Oh, we've got 140 bushels. That's actually not an insignificant amount of corn. Well, we better go dump this off real quick then. And it doesn't really matter which direction we go through the bin site, I don't think, so I'm going to actually bring us through this side. Back hopper's emptying out first, it looks like. And we'll get that front hopper dumping out. Might as well bring this up in the yard a little bit better. Gonna be easier to unload the semi, I think. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put it up here on this part, and then I can just swing around in a circle with the semi. We'll unload the grain cart and get that semi moving again. I think I've got a lime spreader that needs to be filled as well. Might as well get that started off. We're just running around managing the yard right now. So many different workers got things that they need done. I love that there's enough room to not only have the semi in here, but then I can walk alongside the semi. It makes it getting in and out of the vehicles a lot easier. Great bin site setup there for sure. I'm loving it so far. We'll get these last 142 bushels all loaded up and dump them right into the bin. I'm kind of curious to check on our corn dryer. I can see that it's running. We've got the corn dust coming out of it. Let's pop open a menu here. You can see our corn is starting to crank over into dry corn. We've already got 2,000 bushels of corn dried and another 1,600 working its way through. And all that means I can come in here and see, yep, another January crop. We're going to be busy hauling stuff in January. Our max value on these soybeans and other stuff, though, looks like we're going to be at 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe by the time it's done, 800,000 possible profits. So not quite enough to pay off our loans, but we've got several other fields left that we're going to be harvesting over the first calendar year here. We did start kind of in the middle of the year, but we've got the barley going in over there, and we're going to be putting a bunch of cotton down come spring here. I think February is when we're going to be putting the cotton in. But with that, we got the corn done. Let's go ahead and get this lime out to this other field. I do want to just finish that job. There's no real rush to get that done since we're waiting for these other soybeans to come off before we are going to plant that field. That big field is going to be all cotton over there. But we're going to just keep going on this job. I want to finish it off before I move the day forward into November here. Here we are right back out in the field, and we should be able to just, pick up where we left off, no problems. Now, the one thing I do like about this spreader is it'll get going a good 20 miles an hour here while it's spreading, which is awesome. We get a lot of ground covered really quickly with this thing. It just doesn't have that big of a capacity. I mean, it's not tiny, but I feel like we'd be better off using the other case spreader that we've got on that we're using with the sprayer, just because it has a faster road speed and we could get back and forth to the farm better, and it's got just a sliver more capacity, but that's not really the selling point at this point. If it had a lot more capacity, it would definitely tip the scale for me, but at 29 miles an hour, it's just not that fast of a road speed. So we've got about 2 more passes over here to wrap up, and we're still at 64%. We use about 11% per run, so we'll have more than enough lime in here. Estimates successful, I feel accomplished, folks. And yeah, I think this is going to wrap up today's episode. We got a lot done, even though it was only in a couple of fields here. And next episode, we'll be ready to wrap up our soybean harvest here and turn this into one giant field, get it all prepped and ready for our cotton season, which I can't wait for. I haven't done any cotton as far as I can recall in FS22, so this should be a lot of fun. If you enjoyed the episode, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. That's all for today. Ketterk out.